Hi, everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about a recent international business development that could have global implications. So, the article that I chose is from The Guardian and it was posted today, July 27th, 2025. And it covers a new trade deal between the United States and the European Union negotiated during talks in Scotland. So, the article written by Lisa O'Carroll reports that President Donald Trump and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen have reached a trade agreement that includes a 15% baseline tariff on most EU exports to the US. So the deal follows months of rising tensions between the US and the EU over tariffs. These talks in Scotland were intended to prevent a trade war between both sides, and they both seem to be framing the agreement as a compromise. Trump called it a win for American workers, while von der Leyen emphasized that the deal would stabilize transatlantic trade relations. Some critics in Europe argue that 15% tariffs could hurt key industries like auto manufacturing, agriculture, and textiles. So how this connects to chapter six a little bit. The most obvious connection is the use of tariffs, which is one of the most classic trade barriers. A 15% tariff means that EU products will become more expensive when sold in the US, and that can hurt EU exporters and raise costs for US consumers and businesses that rely on those imports. It also highlights economic diplomacy and negotiation. International trade doesn't just happen by itself. It's shaped by deals like the one in the article. This deal shows how governments intervene in markets to protect domestic industries or gain leverage in certain industries. Another concept from chapter six is comparative advantage. So when countries specialize in producing goods more efficiently than others, tariffs disrupt that advantage by distorting prices and discouraging imports. So this can also connect to chapter three. For example, trade policy is deeply political. Trump's involvement in these talks shows how leaders can influence global business rules through their own political platforms. Yeah. So, so, so some business implications. For EU businesses, this deal can create short-term uncertainty. Companies that export heavily to the US may see profit margins shrink or face the difficult decision to pass costs on to consumers. On the US side, while the government frames this as protection for domestic industry, it could raise prices for American businesses that rely on European goods, especially in manufacturing and retail. This deal also sets a precedent that other trading organizations or countries might start reconsidering their agreements with the US, especially if they believe the US is shifting towards these policies. But in the bigger picture, this move challenges the idea of free trade and could affect supply chains, foreign direct investment, and other long-term global partnerships. So, in summary, this article illustrates how quickly the global business landscape can shift due to political decisions and trade negotiations. The 15% tariff deal between the US and EU could have ripple effects across multiple industries and reshape economic relations between two of the world's biggest economies. Personally, I think it's sort of a mixed bag with this deal. While it might protect some American industries, it also risks damaging important international relationships and could lead to higher prices for consumers. From a business standpoint, stability and predictability are key, and this kind of trade tension can make things more uncertain. Thank you for listening.